Hi there. Today I will be taking you through how to create leads via USSD and have them saved directly onto your CRM. So a simple use case for this might be, for example, where you have field agents and you would love them to be able to collect lead data while on the field and be able to have it stored directly onto your CRM. So today I shall be taking you through those steps on the Hello Duty CRM. So first things first, come right here to the flows and we'll do create a flow. So a flow is basically where you perform automations or create your USSD journeys. And I'll be creating a new flow and I'll name it create, yep, create lead USSD flow. I'll go ahead and give it a simple description that this is a USSD application for creating leads onto the CRM. And I'll go ahead and set the type. So there are various types of automations or flows that you can create on Hello Duty. So one of them is voice. This is where you want to program the kind of voice journey that you'd like your users to go through. For example, where they dial in and they hear, hello, welcome to Hello Duty. What would you like to do today? For USSD, now this is the one that we'll be creating right now. You can create one on messaging or even trigger automations directly against a record or an event that happens on the CRM. So currently I'll be taking you through the USSD journey. Click that and save. All right. So first things that you'll notice on the screen is that on the left-hand side, we have what we call the process blocks. So process blocks, these are the blocks that we will be adding onto our canvas as we create the entire USSD experience. So the process blocks are exactly as their name suggests, they carry various processes, and I'll just be adding them. Let me add a menu block like that. And a menu block is what carries the message that the end user will be interacting with once they have dialed the shortcode. So I'll go ahead and give this a simple name and call it main menu. Therefore, we have various response types that you can expect from your end user. So for example, let me take you through some of them. So you can expect the end user not to provide any information. You can collect a value from them. You can provide them with a list of options from which they can select from. You can also validate the response they give against number type to ensure that they have entered a number or an email, a date, or you'd like them to enter a value and have it searched against a list of options that you've provided and have it returned to them. So at the moment, we'll go with value with options. So we'll be providing the end user with options that they can interact with. So I'll go ahead and type in here where it says text. So this is the text that will be displayed in the menu. So I'll go ahead and say hello there. What would you like to do today? Go ahead and put in the question mark. And as you notice down here, since I selected value with options, it gives me an area for me to add in the various options that I want. So we have two buttons right here. One is called add an option and the other is called add a reference. So I'll go ahead and click add an option. And options come in key value pairs. So what this means is one is the key and the value for it will be any option that you'd like to provide. So I can come in here and say I'd like to register a lead or register as a lead. Or you can even come in here and choose add a reference. So add a reference is a bit different. So add an option allows you to add the options one by one. But if you already have a list, you can just add a reference and you can come in here and click that list. And that list is what the end user will interact with. For this example, we'll just add in the various options. So we'll take the use case where we have a field agent that is registering a lead from the ground. So I'll just go ahead and say register a lead. We can also come in here and provide a different option. So what other option can we provide? We can also choose in here refer a client. So refer a client will only take place where, for example, the lead, the person being interviewed, has a person that they'd like to reference or refer to the company. So we can choose refer a lead. So yes, we can just go with those two options. And then as I scroll a bit down, you notice we have what we call error handling. So error handling comes in the case where, I'll give you an example. Right here, we have options that we have provided to the end user to select from. So the end user may accidentally or intentionally just provide a value that is not among these options. So what this will do, error handling will then kick in and notify them that they have entered an incorrect value. So we have to provide the error handling message to be displayed. So we'll come in here and say incorrect input, and we shall repeat the message for them again. So it will be, what would you like to do today? So let me just show you how this will happen. So the end user is asked to register a lead or to refer a client. They come in here and type something like 3, or they leave the input field blank and try to go next. So then what will happen is error handling kicks in and displays this message for them. So you do not need to type in the options again. This will just be reflected against the error handling message for them to select against. All right. Having said that, let's now review our menu, our main menu block. So this is the first point of interaction the end user will see after dialing in the shortcode. So notice it provides us with two different paths that it can take. One, it could be register a lead. Two, it can be refer a client. So we need to be able to take into account these two journeys, so that if the end user chooses one, they go through the registering a lead journey. If they enter two, then they go through the refer a client journey. So I'll show you how we do that. So on my left hand side under the process blocks, we have what we call the containers. So I'll click on containers, and we have what we call the group block. So I'll go ahead and add that in. So as you can see how it appears on the canvas, it has some space within it that allows it to be able to take in it other blocks. So I can add in here another menu block or any other kind of block within it. So this is what a group block helps with. So I have two journeys and I'd like to be able to separate the two journeys. So I'll come and add in a group block, and the group block will be able to take in one specific journey. So for example, I can come here and name this group block as register a lead. So this ensures that the entire journey for registering a lead will be executed within this block. So to enforce this, what we'll do is we'll come in here and add a condition. So these are the rules for this group block to run. So I'll come in here and say that for this group block to run, I'd need that the main menu dot key to be equal to 1. So this means that when the end user selects the key here as 1, so that is main menu dot key is equal to 1, then therefore we shall go through the register a lead journey. So another way we could add it as is, we could also come here. So you see main menu, it has an arrow, so that means there's more information to it. And we also have the ID, we have the key and the value. So the first option we could have used was the key. We can also use the value. And the value here would be register a lead. So I can go ahead and copy that. And I can just come and paste it in here. So you can say where the main menu dot value is equal to register a lead. So for this example, I'll just use the main menu dot key. Let me just delete that and click that, select key. So where main menu dot key is equal to 1, we'll run through the register a lead journey. All right. So now let's start populating our register a lead group block. So I'll just go back to the actions tab and I'll add in here another menu block. So remember now we're doing registering a lead. So they have said I want to register a lead. So the first thing that you'll collect is the first name or even the full name. So let's collect the full name. So I'll come in here and say enter the lead's full name. So When entering a name, of course, we're expecting them to provide a value. It's not that they're selecting against a list of options. So I'll come right here to response type and set it to value. So as you can see, we also have error handling on this. So what this means is that if the end user does not provide any value and tries to proceed, error handling kicks in and notifies them incorrect entry, enter the lead's full name, just like that. And since this is all running under the register a lead block, I do not need to come in here and say add a condition for this block to run and say that main menu.key is equal to 1. By adding this menu block within the group, this ensures that everything within the group shall only run when main menu.key is equal to 1. All right, so now let me duplicate this full name. So another detail that we can collect. So yeah, this is where we have the duplicate button to duplicate the block that we have, and it'll come in as full name dot dash copy. So I'll just click on that, and as you can see, it's the exact copy of the full name block. So I'll come in here and I'll type in, we can collect the phone number this time. So phone. So what we expect, of course, is a value, and I'll say enter the leads. Let me just edit that to enter the lead's phone number, copy the message so that this can be used in error handling. So I'll just paste that right here. And just like that, we have our phone collecting a field or block. Then we can also duplicate the same and come in and create one for email. So I'll just come in here, edit the details of the block. So I'll call this one email. So the response type that I'll be expecting is an email. So what this means is that the entry provided by the end user, will be validated to ensure that it is the correct, it's a correct email format. So I'll come in here and say enter the lead's email address. I'll go ahead and copy that and paste it down here. So error handling will kick in if the entry, if the input by the end user does not comply to the expected email address format or the usual email address format. So there's one thing that we can do to make this a bit more interesting. So notice it's not that all end users or that all leads will have an email address. So some may say that they do not have one or they do not want to provide their email address. So what we can do is we can add under the phone block, we can add a menu block that questions. So we want to ask them, provide email. So here we'll come and it will be value with options since we'll provide them with 2 options. So the text or the message displayed will be, would the lead like to provide their email address? And we can provide the options as yes or no. And of course, error handling will kick in and say incorrect input and ask them the same question again. Will the lead like to provide their email address? All right. So now they have 2 options. They can choose to select yes or they can choose to select no. So now this means that we also have a varied path. So one path for yes and one for no. So one thing to note about the group blocks, and this is the entire block that accommodates the entire register a lead process, you cannot add a group block within another group block. So for such a scenario, what we'll do is we'll just use the conditions of executions or the rules to run the action. So I'll come back to email and say, the only time we'll be collecting the email is if, and I'll add that condition right here and say is if provide email dot key is equal to 1. So that means provide email is this one. I'll click on it, and key dot 1 means it says yes. So in the event that the end user wants to provide an email, then the email will be collected using this block. Otherwise, it will just skip this block and move to the next action. So having collected the email, we'll go ahead and using what we call the data block, we are going to save. The data block is what we use to save data on to the Hello Duty CRM. So I'll just come here and click on it, and we are going to edit it right here. So I'll come here and name it create lead. So notice we have two options. We can create a lead that has an email and one without an email, depending on the choice by the end user. So we'll do one for create lead with email. And so the module or collection that we're dealing with is a lead. So I'll come here and select lead. And the operation that we are performing is create, since we are creating a lead. So the name, notice we collected the name using the full name block. So it will be the value that the end user provided when this block ran. So it will be full name dot value. So you just select full name dot value. Next, we have the stage. So the stage, you can have it automatically set for all leads collected in the field, and you can say it will be raw so that the sales team can know these are the leads that have to follow up with. Then you can come and provide in the company name. So I'll just assume that they have no company name. Or if you wanted to collect the company name, you could have just added it under as part of the journey. So I would have had one block right here that's called company. But in the event that I do not want to collect that data, I'll just name this not available. Then for the email address, so we're only collecting the email address if the user selected yes. So what we'll do is this entire create lead with email will only be for the choice where the end user selected that they'd like to provide their email. So I'll go ahead in here and I'll say the data to be provided is the email block value. So email dot value. And last but not least, we have the phone. So the phone will just be the phone, the value provided against this menu block. So that will be phone dot value. So come and get phone, click the one that has more information and select value. And I'll go ahead and save that. All right. So for this create lead with email to run, we expect it to only run if the end user wanted to provide an email. So I'll come to the rules to run this action and I'll click add a condition and I will say run this field when provide email dot key is equal to 1, meaning provide email is this field, this block right here. Dot key is 1, meaning they choose yes, provide email. I'll go ahead and save that, and that is successful. So now we need to create one that is going to create a lead for a lead, that's going to create a lead on the CRM in the event that the end user did not want to provide their email. So I'll just duplicate this block and I'll come in here and rename its details. So this one I'll call it create lead without email. So of course the rest of the details are correct, but the only thing that I'll be changing in here, one of the things I'll be changing is one, I'll be removing the email field. So since this time we're not collecting the email, and this block should only run if provide email.key is equal to 2, meaning the end user choose do not provide email. And once these two, so yes, once we are done with that part, then we'll expect to send the end user a message telling them you have successfully registered a lead. So we'll call this successful registration. And the response type will be none, since we do not expect the end user to provide an input. And this is where we'll be terminating the entire session against registering a lead. So we'll give it the response type none, meaning that the session will terminate at that point. And the message that they'll be seeing is you have successfully registered a lead. All right, and then I'll go ahead and save that. So that will be the process for registering a lead. So we also have another path that we could have chosen, and that is referring a client. So what I will do is I will come down here. So this is the register a lead block, this inner one right here. So I'll come and add another block after our first register a lead group block, and I'll add it down here. So this will be the second group block, and this one will be for the journey refer a client. And so let's set its rules for it to run, or its conditions of execution. So that will be main menu dot key should be equal to 2, meaning that they chose refer a client right here. So I'll go ahead and begin to add in the fields within the refer a client group block. And so I'll start by adding a menu block. So the first thing that we'll be collecting for the client being referred will be their first name, or we can just collect the full names together. So full name. And for that, we'll be expecting a value. I'll go ahead and enter the leads, or enter their referred clients full names. And in the event that the end user does not provide these details, let's cater for that with error handling. So error handling will be triggered in the event that no value is provided. So I'll come in here and say incorrect input, then, or I can even say this time, try again, and enter the referred client's full names. All right. Then the next thing we can collect, since this one is just a client being referred, so probably the person referring doesn't have their email, we'll just add in here and collect the phone number. Or we can even collect the same details as before. So for email, we'll select email and come in here and say, enter the referred client's email address. I'll go ahead and copy that and tell them in the event that the value provided is not a valid email format, try again and enter the referred client's email address. Oh, so this one was for email. Okay, let me just rename that to email. And we can also create one for phone. And this one will, for phone, the response type expected is a value, and it will be enter the referred client's phone number. Go ahead and repeat that down here. And we can just have this as the data that has been collected. So we'll finish off by creating the record of the referred client onto the CRM. So we'll come in here and name our data block, create referred client. So we can choose to create the referred client against the lead collection. So since they're also a lead, and we can say the operation is create, and we can come in here and populate the name with the full name provided right there. So it will be full name so it's gonna be full name dot value. The stage, since this is a referred client, so for all leads, we'll be setting them as raw so that the end users, so that the sales team can know that they are, leads. And for referred clients, we'll set them as cold. meaning that no communication has been done with them at all. And we can go ahead and populate more data. So for the company, we can of course add in as not available. So for the email, we'll select the email field. So that will be email as not key, but email.value. So that's email.value. And for the phone number, the same thing. It'll be phone.value. And last but not least, we can also choose to look whether there's anything else. You can say the source is manual, so that we can know that this one was, although was collected via USSD, this was a manual lead referred by a client, by our, this is basically a referred client and not a lead that has been spoken to. So I'll go ahead and save that, and we can go ahead and begin to test this. All right. So one good thing about Hello Duty is that as it allows you to be able to create your entire USSD journey without any programming, it also enables you to be able to test what you have created on the sandbox. So I'll go ahead after clicking run. I'll come and click run this flow. And immediately I can run a simulation of the entire journey so that I can see if there's any bugs or any errors within it. So you can see this is what the end user will be seeing on their phones once they dial the code. So hello there, what would you like to do today? So I'll choose register a client. So I expect it to take me through this journey right here. So I'll go ahead and click enter, and it tells me enter the lead's full name. So I can come in here and say, we can give this lead a name like Francis the lead. Let's save him as Francis the lead so that we can know him. Then it prompts me to enter the lead's phone number. So I can go ahead and say plus 254 2547. Click enter. Then would the lead like to provide their email address? I'll go ahead and say yes in the event that they'd like to. And then let's test whether the error handling for the email address will work. So I'll just go ahead and type in you, and it tells me incorrect entry, enter the lead's email address. So I'll go ahead and say in here, Francis at thelead.com. So this is the correct email format. So this should work. And it goes ahead and tells me you have successfully registered a lead. So if you want to see some of the backend details that happen, so for example, once I click debug, I'm able to see this create lead with email, and it tells me that the lead creation was successful onto the database. But if I do not want to see that, I can just hide it like that, and I can just see the entire interaction as the end user will see it. So that was the first journey. So let's go ahead and create the second journey. Please mark the name was Francis the lead. We'll go ahead and check if he was created, or let's just check that right now. So I'll just come out of there and go to the lead section. So here are the leads. And you can see Francis the lead was created and his stage is raw as we had set. So now let's go ahead and run against the second journey, which is refer a client. So I'll click run and run this flow. And this time I'll say I want to refer a client. So I'll choose option number 2. Enter the referred client's full names. So see, this time it's not asking for a lead, but the referred client's full names. So that means it has correctly come to this journey. So I'll go ahead and say this one will be Margaret. And I'll call her Margaret there, referee. Then enter the referred client's email address. So I'll go ahead in here and say Margaret. I'll just try that and let's see if error handling kicks in. Try again, enter the referred client's email address. I'll go ahead and say Margaret at thereferee.com. That was accepted. Then it prompts me to enter the client's phone number. I'll try to click enter and go next without providing a value. And of course, you can see an issue occurred, so that means it's not supported. So I'll go ahead and try that again. I'll go ahead and type in here another value. So what the end user will see is that message being displayed for them. So I'll go ahead and type in here the client's phone number will be +254. And it has been accepted. And as you can see, we get a success message that a referred client has been created. So one thing that I did not add was the end message. So having debugged that there's something missing in my flow, I'll just come right here and add in a menu block at the end that says success. So this means that, and I'll set the response type to none so that this will be the point at which the flow will terminate. And this will be a success message to say, you have successfully added the referred client onto the database. And the response type is none. So I'll go ahead and save that and we can test again against the sandbox. And I'll go ahead and choose what would I like to do today. I'll go ahead and say I'd like to refer client option 2 and I'll click enter the referred client's full names. So the one we created before was Margaret, the referee. This one will be Han, the referee. Enter the client's email address. So I'll go and say his email address is han@thereferee.com. Enter the referred client's phone number. So I'll go ahead and say +254 and enter that. And my successful message is played for me. You have successfully added the referred client onto the database. So I'll go ahead and leave the flow section and I'll just go to leads to see if Han, the referee, has been added. So you can see Han, the referee, is right here. Stage is cold, showing that they are a client who has been referred to us. Similar thing for Margaret right here. And that is just how you can easily create a simple USSD application to help you collect leads using agents who are in the field. So thank you for joining us today. Hope to see you next time. Goodbye.